Terrificon is back. The Terrific Comic-Con, devoted to, what else? Comic books and their creators, returns to Mohegan Sun Expo Center in Connecticut. The 3-day event features the largest gathering of comic book writers and artists. The largest of its kind in New England is on August 9th through the 11th. Terrificon producer Mitch Halleck promises this year's event will be the best con he's ever produced, with today's top talent like Tom King, Donny Cates, Ryan Stegman, Clay Mann, Liam Sharp, Derek Robertson, plus legendary creators Jim Steranko, Chris Claremont, Jim Starlin, Jerry Ordway, and in his final con appearance, the one and only George Perez. Terrificon will be celebrating Batman's anniversary, as well as featuring actors from the Bat films, Billy D. Williams, Robert Wool, and Val Kilmer. Plus, Doctor Who's John Barrowman, The Flash's John Wesley Shipp, the voice cast reunion of Animaniacs, and Pinky and the Brain, and lots more. See for yourself why Terrificon is summer's hottest Comic-Con, this August 9th through the 11th, only at Mohegan Sun. For more information and guest list, visit Terrificon.com. It's terrific! Hey everybody, welcome back to Word Balloon, the comic book conversation show. John Snutris here, another cluster of podcasts for you on a Tuesday. I hope you'll enjoy them. I've got an Avengers movie review with myself, Mike Negin of Reed Industries, the people that put on great conventions like C2E2 and New York Comic Con and Emerald City. So Mike is with me, and then also the wonderful team of art, Baltazar and Franco, the great creative team behind Oh Yeah Comics, Tiny Titans, Superman of Smallville, a new young adult comic book that's in the works from Art and Franco, and a whole lot more. And also the great Scoot McMahon, a fine young cartoonist who has Sammy the Squirrel as his character, does some work for Oh Yeah Comics as well. Wonderful cartoonist. And we get together and do the Oh Yeah podcast when we can. We try to make it we try for weekly. It doesn't happen all the time, and I know we had no episodes either in March or April. I forget which month we missed. I think April. But thank God we've got this one also running there. And in fact, what you're about to hear is about 3 hours long. So if you want the extended version and you like what you hear here, by all means go to the Oh Yeah podcast feed and check out some of the conversations that we have there. It's much more freewheeling. Nobody's selling anything. It's almost an afterthought. Every now and then they're like, oh yeah, we got a new book. We should mention that. Or, oh yeah, we're going to be at a convention. But on this episode, you'll hear us talk about Avengers Endgame. I wanted to give everyone at least 2 weekends to see the movie before I really started spoiling about it. And, of course, the Russo brothers told everyone that, okay, you can start spoiling now the Monday after the second weekend. Man, it's just crazy. And I get it, because that's kind of the way movies are consumed now. Everyone rushes to see it the first weekend or second weekend. And I don't know, man. I mean, everyone's got, real life can get in the way, and I can appreciate that. So, if you don't want to be spoiled and you haven't seen Endgame yet, save this one and then come back to it, because it's still a fun conversation. But that's what we're talking about today, Avengers Endgame on Word Balloon. Word Balloon is brought to you by the League of Word Balloon listeners. Thank you, League, for your continued support via Patreon. Patreon.com/WordBalloon. That's where my Patreon page is. Word Balloon is free. It'll always be free. But I'll tell you, I'm trying to crank out more episodes as I'm recovering from my ankle injury, and I'm not able to do as much radio as I normally do. And because of that, it gives us a chance to do more conversations. And like I said, that's why we got a cluster of a bunch of new episodes today at wordballoon.com. So if you want to help out the cause and want to subscribe to Word Balloon, go to patreon.com/wordballoon, click on the Patreon page, and you'll check out all the details there. But thank you very much for your support, League of Word Balloon listeners. This episode of Word Balloon is also brought to you by Aftershock Comics. Aftershock Comics, the industry's fastest-growing independent publishing company, promoting both new and established comic audiences to read dangerously. They're calling 2019 the year of reading dangerously. They're publishing some of the most talked-about independent titles of the past few years. Marguerite Bennett's Animosity, Garth Ennis's Walk Through Hell, Cullen Bunn's Dark Ark, Baby Teeth from Donny Cates. Aftershock will push the envelope even further this year with new releases, an ongoing series that continue to thrill, chill, and challenge both imaginations and sensibilities. They're working with top writers, artists, and some of the brightest new stars in the creative community. Check out new titles like Descendant by Stephanie Phillips. Killer Groove is out at the end of the month, May 29th, from Ollie Masters and Owen Marin. Stronghold with Phil Hester and Ryan Kelly. Oberon from Ryan Parrott, Dark Red from Tim Seeley, Out of the Blue from Garth Ennis, only to name a few. Great stuff. In the weeks ahead, we'll have more talks with Aftershock creators about their books, but you don't have to wait. Check out full story descriptions, preview pages, and the diamond codes on these books to order through your local shop at AftershockComics.com. Okay, we're going to get into our conversation. This is midway through the most recent Aw Yeah podcast, and this is us talking about Avengers Endgame. So now, Mike Negin, Franco, Art Baltazar, Scoop McMahon, and myself in a little panel discussion about Endgame on today's Word Balloon. Spoilers beware, they're coming. Oh, yeah. All right, let's get into it, boys, because it's almost 10 o'clock Scoot, Negin, and Franco time. And wait.
Real time, basically.
Exactly. Real time.
Real time.
Pretend. I am Harry Truman, actually.
Okay, before we start, has everyone seen Avengers yes. Endgame?
I just saw the Infinity War on Netflix.
Wait a minute, you didn't see Endgame yet? I was going to say.
No, I did. Oh, we had to go. We had to go because here's my daughter came home. She's like, I don't want to see it. I said, okay. And then Monday she comes home. Is it true that this happened? Is it true that this happened? I said, yes, maybe. She goes, no, my friends are telling me this. I'm like, maybe. Why won't you tell me? I said, you didn't care yesterday.
Good for you.
You know, I wanted to go. And so I said, what if mommy wants to watch it? And he said, well, then we have to watch 21 movies. I said, really? You don't. You watch Infinity War and you watch this, and you're pretty good.
Now,
you don't really need all that.
Because honestly, my sister Penny, she asked me, and I said, I don't want to feel, because I do feel sometimes I'm like, we're just on different wavelengths as people, and I'm like, honestly, the only thing I'd say is there's going to be a lot of inside jokes that if you don't know the backstory, everyone around you is going to squeal with delight on a scene, and you're going to be like, okay, why is everyone all excited? All that happened was, and we'll get into spoilers in a second. This is your last warning.
But it doesn't. It doesn't quite ruin the movie for you, though, because I haven't seen. I know I'm going to get yelled at for this, but I haven't seen Black Panther.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That had no consequence on.
I haven't seen Captain Marvel.
And neither did Captain Marvel.
And I haven't seen Captain Marvel.
So
I haven't seen Captain Marvel.
And I haven't
Captain Marvel didn't have much consequence to it.
Just the end credits scene was the only thing that was important, really, for this movie from Captain Marvel.
But not even. You can deal without it. So
because I dealt without it, and I still got the movie. Yeah. She's super powerful.
But you're a comic book fan, though. That's.
But she explained it in the movie too.
Had you guys heard the rumor that if Captain Marvel had not been a hit, that they were prepared, or there was a cut that existed that minimized her, they threw out that scene at the beginning where where are you going? I'm going to kill Thanos and everything. I don't know, but I had heard.
Oh no, I didn't hear that.
Well, I hadn't heard that at all.
It's the same sense where they do the Star Trek Discovery truth and rumors, and they were very anti Captain Marvel, and in that sad, stupid way of whoa, they should really be talking about the real Captain Marvel, and it's like, okay.
You know what I hope?
Before we get into everything, the one thing I do want to say, it's like a public service announcement, is and I had this conversation with Johnny briefly a couple of days ago because he happened to call me while I was doing something, so I couldn't talk for a long time. But the spoiler situation in the world has just gotten out of hand.
Yeah,
it's like from the kids in school who I threatened to fail. If they told me anything about it, I've not only threatened to fail them, but random kids that sat next to them as well.
I will fail you.
If you told me
I'm not in this class. I don't care.
And you.
But online is just—it's
so
insane. Between Game of Thrones and Avengers and like every other post on Facebook or Twitter was about a spoiler or.
Yeah.
Even little things, and again, right now is your last chance because I'm going to say something. If you haven't seen the movie, we're going to spoil things. But even someone putting up something like 3,000 up on their
Right.
feed. It's like, why would you do that? But it's not a spoiler, really. You have to watch the movie to understand it.
No, man.
But that's my point. You have to watch the movie to understand what that means.
Even when somebody says there's going to be a moment that you cheer, I'm like, I don't want to know what that.
I don't want to know.
I know what they meant, but here's what I really think about. Like, now that Disney acquired Fox and X-Men and all these things, what I really hope for is this Captain Marvel character. I really hope that her purpose is to introduce Rogue to the Marvel universe.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And have that.
That could happen. I could see that happening.
Where in her movie, Rogue should be the villain, and then she could do that, take her powers. But at the same time, you could have Xavier looking for Rogue or evil mutants. That'd be a great way to tie in X-Men to
it's coming.
that.
I mean, the crossover is coming. So
right.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question? Who hasn't seen Captain Marvel?
I haven't, frankly.
But it's okay. You can spoil it. I don't care.
Yeah.
Franco and
I'm not going to spoil it. I just want to know. Art, did you see it?
No, I got a handful. I haven't seen. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen Ant-Man and the Wasp. I'm not
going to spoil anything about Captain Marvel. What did you think of her in the movie? I'm curious to know.
Having not seen her solo movie.
Having not seen the solo movie, what did you think about her portrayal as Captain Marvel? What did you think of her?
Go ahead.
No, I just felt that she was very abrupt and short and stale of a character. I wasn't in love with her. She's okay.
Very, 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 very stoic and no personality.
Stoic, that's perfect.
But she was like their Superman. She came in there and did her thing. But I only know about Captain Marvel the things that I've heard people say, and the people who review the movie talk about the actress, the way she acts. They said everyone says that she doesn't have personality, and she did fine in the scene where right in the beginning when you see her, she was cool and Thor liked her. So I was on board with him when he goes, "I like this one," because she gave him a little bit of confident smile, but it wasn't a playful smile. It was just like, "I'm tough," kind of.
I've seen her in other movies. Like I saw her in Kong Skull Island, which I liked her in, and I liked the movie. But I just thought Captain Marvel, and in this, she was like, and more so in Captain Marvel, I thought she was very, very stiff. Like my feeling is, if you took a plank of wood and you put the costume on that, it would have done just as good a job.
Right.
You know what it related?
But I was kind of hoping that when this movie came out, it would be like a little bit, but it was the same for me. Her.
You know what it was a little bit like? It remind me just the way she is. It's kind of like seeing Samuel L. Jackson in Episode 1. He was real stiff too. No, you will not be trained.
Interesting.
And he repeats everything Yoda says. Like you know that Sam Jackson has so much more.
Right.
Say Tatooine again.
That's what. Say it again. Yeah, and that's what it looks like with her. She's playing such a heroic, strong character, but who's alien too. So. Right. And I like what she said in the movie. I liked her in the movie. None of it bothered me.
But I liked Captain Marvel, the story as well. Yeah. And I loved Avengers. But I just thought she was, I brought this up to someone at the store, and they're like, she didn't show very much about, like, she didn't even cry. And I'm like, you're an idiot. Why does she have to cry?
Yeah,
to show emotion. Why, just because she's a girl?
Well, I cried in this movie. I showed lots of emotion in this movie.
Right, no, but he was making this point, and I'm like, you're an idiot. Like, why would you even say that?
Yeah, that's not what we're talking about.
9 years ago,
Peter Parker cries in every movie.
When Kelly, hold on.
I don't want to go, Mr. Stark.
Shut up for a second.
Oh my God!
And then we'll continue.
Shut up yourself.
Well, I
Shut
was
up, Johnny.
talking. Shut
up.
10 years ago, when Kelly Sue DeConnick redesigned Ms. Marvel and turned her into Captain Marvel. Yeah. I asked her, and I'm like, okay, I got to be honest, and maybe I'm a knuckle-dragging male chauvinist, but I'm like, I like the bombshell. Why am I wrong?
Yeah.
And prophetically, and I wonder if she ever made this point to the filmmakers, but she's like, okay, let's say there's a superhero funeral, and everybody's there looking sad and solemn in their uniforms or whatever, and there's Ms. Marvel in her bathing suit onesie with her thigh-high boots and Farrah Fawcett hair, and I started laughing, and I'm like, I get it. And then I saw that scene, and I'm like, oh. I'm like, okay. So that's why I wanted to not be interrupted and tell that story. Now, please continue.
Yeah. But she did seem like the Marvel Universe's Superman.
Absolutely.
Kind of, you know.
No, I get that part.
Fine, yeah.
But,
that's okay.
you know,
I'm okay with
it just, I don't know.
And she's very regal and alien-like, and she made her point, like, that these guys are so small compared to everything else going on in the universe. So I was cool with that.
Right.
I was thinking that.
Fine. I mean, again, without seeing
I didn't have a problem with her at all.
But again, like I heard these rumors, and I could see after watching Endgame saying, oh yeah, they could have taken that first scene out where you're going, I'm going to kill Thanos. And also, even at the end, when she shows up and, blows the hell out of Thanos' ship and everything.
Wow, way to just give it all away, Johnny.
That was a spoiler.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I got to build up.
Well, no, we can start at the beginning if you want. We go chronologically or whatever we liked about it. First of all, let's rate the movie. I'd say 5 out of 5. I love the movie. It was amazing.
I'd say 3,000 out of 5. I loved it. I thought it was great.
I'm going to rate it like this. This movie... This movie, I saw the movie and I realized the moment it was over.
Don't cry.
I never have to see another superhero movie. I never have to read another comic book because nothing will be better than what I just saw.
Your life is going to be boring.
I could sell all my toys. I could do everything. I could do it.
I'll take the Migos.
Yeah, this movie made it worth collecting comics for 50 years.
Yeah,
it really does. And
you're right.
Is, like, since you're a little boy and you see a comic book at 7-Eleven with a jackal on it, and like, why does Green Goblin look weird? And you buy it anyway. This movie made buying that worth it. And now I know where it ends. It's kind of like when you read X-Men. You want to read it up until Dark Phoenix Saga, and you're good. You could stop, or you could read it till Magneto blows up, or
Daredevil
you could read
like that. Born Again.
Yeah, you could just Daredevil. Right, and it's not worth reading the next book to reopen. It's like, okay, White Sox won a World Series 2005. I should have stopped there, but now I'm again and again and hoping, and every year it opens the wound. Like now, I am afraid to watch any other movie like after this, and I'm really worried about. I'm going to watch it, but I'm worried about Star Wars Episode 9 and 10, whatever they're calling it.
Well, you should be worried about that
because that movie, produced by Disney, also has to compete with what this Avenger movie did.
Yeah, but this was a Marvel Studios film.
They don't
Yeah, it's different.
But they let Marvel be Marvel.
But how do you can't compete with this? This movie's there's still on everything.
Stop remodeling your house, whoever that is.
Yeah,
dumbass.
I can't imagine what all
it's on me.
I can't imagine what all the other movie and superhero publishers are looking at this. They went to this movie and says, "Oh, damn, why did we even bother trying?" And that's what this movie said.
In comparison,
that's it.
Revenge of the Jedi, and I liked it when I saw it, but even as I was watching Revenge of the Jedi, I'm ignoring you.
You mean Return of the Jedi?
I just knew there was something like the Ewoks. What the hell? It didn't look as sharp from a filmmaking standpoint. There were a lot of scenes where you're just like, is this a TV movie? What the hell's going on? This is a bad angle. All that stuff. And you did, really, Endgame, you didn't feel that way. They were able to do it in 11 years and 22 movies. And they made 22 movies absolutely make sense. And, of course, the tired phrase, they stuck the landing. They did.
Yeah, I could do this all day.
So one thing that really impressed me in it, and it happened today, actually, I was in class, and my buddy Vinny came from the other classroom because he had to ask me a question, and he was in my class, and I was just listening. My class was working on a project, and you overhear things, and I heard one kid in the corner talk about when they went to Comic-Con, and they had a picture with the Superman statue, and on the other side of the room was a couple of kids talking about Avengers Endgame. And I said to myself, do you hear that those conversations going on? And he goes, yeah. I said, when I was their age in high school, I would have gotten beaten up for having that conversation.
Yeah.
And right now, all of these kids are talking about Avengers or this or that or the other thing. There were 2 or 3 different conversations going on about superheroes and comic books. Well, not comic books, but the world of comic books. Yeah, and it struck me as like, yeah, at their age, if I started talking like that in class, I would have gotten beaten up.
Absolutely.
I was in a club, so we didn't get beat up. We had a lot of football players in there.
Yeah, I didn't. I got beat up.
No, I got beat up.
When I started at Sporting News Radio, awesome. One of the engineers, I would come. My shift was 4 p.m. to midnight, so on New Comic Book Day, I would stop at the store, buy my new books, and bring them into the store with me on my way to work. And my boss loved Dave Olson. Loves comics. In fact, when I started Word Balloon, I'm like, Dave, do you want to co-host this because he's such a Marvel head and everything? No, that's okay, dude. You do your show. I'm like, all right. Well, anyway, the engineer was like, oh, you little comic books, aren't you cool? And he was really into Frank Zappa, and he would go to a Frank Zappa message board, because this is like early internet message board era and stuff. And I'm like, oh, you mean like your little Frank Zappa club and stuff? He said, well, no, that's different. That's music. I'm like, no, you know something? It isn't. I go, guess what? I'm in my 40s. I'm very comfortable with who I am and what I like. If what I like... If you think you're gonna I suddenly became like the nerd with gonads. All of a sudden, my balls dropped, and I'm like, if you get joy out of like trying to mock what I like, I'm like, guess what? I don't care. And you go ahead and like what you like. I'm gonna like what I like. I'm very comfortable with myself, and I'm not here to.
You know what I love about that story?
And he apologized. He did apologize. Go ahead. What do you like?
You know what I love about that story, Johnny? That you're angry at all stages of your life.
No, it's true. It was. It was like 100% right. It was 15 years ago, and
I wonder if Bill Maher saw this movie.
The Attorney General. Yes. He did. He's got a 4-paragraph. The good news is it ends pretty happy. Everything went fine. I'd like to reclaim my time.
No, Bill Maher, not William
Bill Maher, you idiot.
I thought you said William Barr.
I don't know who it is. I have no idea what you guys talking about.
By the way, nice jabs, good. I like that.
Yeah.
You idiot.
10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah. All right, that's fine.
Yeah.
Let's go into various scales, but okay, yeah. I mean, I can't...
I'd have to say 99 out of 100. There's a small
5 stars,
percent.
99 out of 100.
There's Wanted. What's the 1%?
Yeah.
What happened in that 1%?
For the most part, like it was pretty pitch perfect. But there was a couple of things that just annoyed me.
You're wrong.
No, tell me.
You're not letting me finish.
See?
You're still wrong.
You're not letting me finish.
You're still wrong.
And I love time travel stuff. I couldn't
believe they were doing that, by the way. But go ahead.
And by the way, on a tangent to the tangent, I find it amazing that the regular non-comic book audience could even understand the time travel stuff.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was looking at my wife, I was like, "There's no way she's going to understand what the fuck is going on here." Like,
yeah.
No, well, that's part of my. That's part of my
Get to
my
it.
my 1%. 1% is the time travel stuff. Is that they first of all they bashed all these classic time travel stuff. Like, no, that's not the way. Back to the Future, time cop. That's not the way all the time travel really works. This, and then they didn't follow their own newly created time travel rules because
rules were meant to be broken.
They created these time travel rules, right? That are different from any other movie.
Right.
We're gonna beat you over the head with the fact that our time travel is different than Back to the Future and all the rest. And then they really didn't stick to that.
How did they not stick to it?
That explanation.
They didn't stick to it.
Well, perfect example is Captain America is one example, and Thanos getting the 2014 Thanos getting killed in 2019. That throws it all off.
But he time jumped. Yeah, I loved it. I love that they went all other movies. Yeah,
but it doesn't follow their own time travel rules that they set early in the movie.
Again, I've heard explanations regarding all the vials of the pin particles and how Cap could do it. Frankly, I see that as an untold Captain America story of, yes, we know the happy ending, and it's great that he's with Peggy, and it was very, very emotionally satisfying, and I loved all of it. So those things didn't bother me. But what it did was open a door for me to say, what was he doing during those decades? And wouldn't it be great if Chris Evans or even another actor wanted to be Captain America, and we get a great 1950s Captain America story or 60s or 70.
Also, Cap at the end was like 150 years old, wasn't he?
But again,
he was.
He's like Joe Lewis fighting Muhammad Ali.
Super soldier serum.
I was okay with that. I love that.
And I kind of that was really was like 100.
But also, hold on,
looked like he was 70. So.
And also more time travel stuff. I felt that the individual time travel caper stuff was 10% too long. It was just a little bit too long.
No, you're wrong.
I don't think I'm wrong.
Yeah.
It was just I loved it. I loved it, especially as a comic book fan. It was definitely super fan service. But at a certain point, I was like, all right, let's get on with this. Let's get on with the movie. I get what you're trying to do here, but you've done it enough. Let's have the movie now.
Kevin Smith, it was like watching a good annual, like a good Marvel annual, where you cut away to like a great Avengers annual, where you do it's like, okay, these three heroes are doing this. What this one hero is doing X,
yes,
and no, there weren't enough. I mean, again, it didn't feel like 3 hours to me. It breezed by. The one complaint I keep hearing very quickly, which I'm like, I shrug and go whatever, is when Hawkeye, when he gets the call from his wife after the widow dies. It was a great moment, but a bunch of nitpickers are like, okay, so basically he's kept his wife's phone service active for 5 years and has been paying the bill. And my buddy Rob Burnett, I'm watching his YouTube show, and he even goes, well, yeah, maybe he's so grief-stricken that he didn't know what he was doing, and maybe he did just robotically continue to pay the bill and not really think about it.
Or maybe half the population that got wiped out mostly worked for AT&T, and they don't know how to shut off the.
But that was such brilliant writing. To tell us that it worked, that the experiment worked, because instead of showing anything, that's all we needed is that phone ring. And I thought, and Falco showed up next, but that right there, like, man, that was brilliant. I wish when brilliant moments happen like that, I'm thinking as a writer, like, damn it, I wish I came up with something like that. Yeah. That was such a beautiful
before we get
moment.
too far away from what we were talking about before with Cap and everything, so is that ending with Captain America? Did he go back and live his life?
Just the way,
or
he lived his life,
or are we in a separate timeline, or something else?
He returned all the stones and didn't come back. He just said,
I think he lived undercover with Peggy, and it's interesting because then if you watched Agent Carter, you almost assumed when we see Peggy in Winter Soldier, that old film of her, and she talks about her husband and everything. You wonder if that disabled guy from Agent Carter is her husband, because they kind of were putting them together. But I kind of like the idea that, no, her husband was Steve, and Steve just very quietly and without, it's like, go ahead, Peggy, do your thing. And, and even had a conversation with her saying, I can't tell you why X, Y, and Z. But then again, time travel nitpickers will point to her death scene in Winter Soldier. And it's like, well, then that conversation doesn't make sense. And maybe Franco's theory is right, that it is a different alternate universe, a new timeline. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Because if you look it up, I think there's an interview with the directors about what it is. And I think it's not what we think, but I like to think he lived out his life and stayed there.
Yeah, he stayed. But you know what? All right, I'm gonna mess it all up right now.
It's the point of this show. Argument.
Okay, now he went back in time to return all the stones to where they rightfully placed. Now, when he went back, just like Marty McFly, now there are 3 Captain Americas in the time loop. because so if he lived through the life, that means he would have saw himself fighting.
What the hell is that?
Stop it! That's not funny anymore. Stop doing that.
We're talking about.
It's not me.
Whoever's doing
I was on mute.
Stop doing it.
Doing what? I don't even hear anything.
Because you're probably heavy.
So that means Steve Rogers. Steve Rogers, the married Steve Rogers, who fell in love with Peggy and got to spend his life with her, could have seen himself from the future, himself from the present, fighting himself. So at one point in the time stream, there were 3 Captain Americas.
What's the problem?
You know what bothers me about that idea though is knowing the character of Captain America of Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
Do you really think he would have been able to hold back from ever intervening in any situation? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think he has it in him.
Because there was another, if not two other Caps there at the time taking care of everything.
Plus he was still Captain America until he gave Falcon his shield.
Right, until that moment, and now Falcon is Captain America.
Who's to say he wasn't having covert adventures? Again, that's my point. But also, I can also see him saying, you know something,
he was dressed as
I didn't
Nomad.
ask for this life. I didn't ask for being frozen in 70 years. I did my part when I was asked in the, everything leading up to him putting back the stones. And it's like, no, I don't have anything else to give. And also, I know the rules. Don't fuck with the timeline. So I'm not going to.
No, that's not Steve. That's not Steve Rogers.
Well, he did know.
Well, like I said, that's my first theory of he had a bunch of secret adventures, covert adventures and stuff that nobody else knew about. And that, or maybe
what I thought was going
to. I don't know.
He was the crazy 50s Cap.
Well, that's what
really
I'm saying. Would it be great to see
the one with the motorcycle helmet? He was the 70s Cap.
Actually, you guys know who he is. He's the Hydra Cap. Right. He said it himself in the movie.
Exactly.
Yeah, he did. That was
awesome.
That was awesome. Scene, man.
That was one of the best
scenes. That's like one of the scenes with my sister where I'd be like, if you don't know all of that, and especially just when he walks in the elevator. And I'm sure, like, your crowd, the crowd, every crowd went ape shit. Because, like, oh my God, again, excellent.
And then
he diffuses it.
You're like,
that's even better. Absolutely, man.
That was so good. That's another brilliant writing
right.
tactic.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they just said, they're Hydra guys, but they used to, just before we knew they were Hydra, It
was just all well set up.
But that's fan service, though, because the average person doesn't know that, doesn't understand what that means.
But that's okay. It does. Not everybody. You don't have to understand everything.
But if you watch all these,
but they did explain it.
But to you and me,
because
hold my
Tony
point
Stark
is,
says right before they go, they're bad guys, they're Hydra guys. We didn't know it at the time.
True too.
Yeah.
Right.
So he does. They do set it up.
No. Yes, I understand they set it up. But what I'm saying to you is, to you and me and everybody else on this podcast, that was an amazing moment. It was like, oh my God!
Yeah, absolutely. That was
designed to be.
But to the average moviegoer, that was a throwaway moment. It was like, okay.
Sorry for that 5% of the audience that didn't see it before and is confused.
I don't think Marvel had
5%. You can't say that 5% of the audience is not comic book people.
No, that's not what I said.
No,
how many people collect comic books today?
What I said is like 5% of people like my sister who this is their only Marvel movie and are walking in. I think there are non-comic book people that saw all 21 of the other movies as well, Mike. So no, I don't think it's bad. I think it's the last chapter of a 22 chapter story.
But
they
still wouldn't be amazed by that Hail Hydra moment.
Boo-hoo again,
unless they saw the other movie.
Sorry, I don't care. I don't.
Unless they saw the other movie, if they go back now and they watch.
Wow, you are on a tear today, John.
I want us to have disagreements because obviously I knew we all loved the movie. I'm glad there were wrinkles of the movie that we are discussing, and I'm sure people listening have friends that feel the same way that you do, Mike. It's okay. I'm just saying. I'm going to be
Avengers Endgame, a wrinkle in time.
But that also goes back to someone else watching Captain America and then hearing that line and they're like, "Oh, that's."
Both my boys love the movie, and I didn't have to explain one thing.
How many of the other Marvel movies have your boys seen?
Have they at least seen?
Pretty much all the ones I saw. They missed all the ones I missed.
Okay.
So we always see them together. We see Marvel and Star Wars.
Did they see all the Iron Man movies or the Captain America movies?
We saw the first two Iron Man together, and they never saw Iron Man 3. We saw all the Caps, and they liked them all. They loved the Civil War. We liked them all. But one moment, I want to get back to Captain America Time Traveler. When he went on the time travel pad and got his suit on and picked up the hammer and the stones that went to return them, and then he disappeared. Yeah, he had the hammer. He had the hammer. When Thor said, "Here, you have the little one." That was so cool.
That was awesome.
And so when he went back in time, and he didn't come back, they counted down to 5 and he didn't return. I thought for a moment oh my God, what if the Red Skull comes back with that cloudy black cloak? I thought that was going to happen. It was going to lead off to people. That's what I was expecting.
Cap probably beat his brains in with that hammer when he saw him.
Now, come on. When that hammer wound up in Cap's hands during the fight,
my God.
Tell me you didn't scream.
I screamed, I clapped.
I will definitively say that was the best moment of the movie.
That's the best moment of the last 25 years in our lives.
I didn't see that happening. I didn't call that.
Artie thinks it's better than the birth of his children.
Mike, if you only saw Endgame, you missed that's a fan service moment of Cap being able to wield the hammer.
Absolutely.
But I'm saying I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think that's a bad thing.
And that was a callback to the movie that showed it 4 years ago or whatever when he... But
Age of Ultron, yes.
The thing also about Cap is all these movies, well, the Russos have been on board with Cap for most of them, and I think the writers of this movie have written all the Captain America movies. As a series, his movies are some of the best because you're rooting for him so hard, and he's lost so much throughout his life. And then when he finally grabs that hammer, it's like, yes, of course, he's worthy. Yeah. He's always been worthy.
He's always been worthy.
And Thor's reaction to, like, you watch that moment in Ultron where you're like, oh shit, he's scared that Cap can actually pick that up, or you're wondering what he's thinking. And then to this movie where he's like, I knew it. I knew he was worthy.
Yeah.
That was
was just amazing.
Go ahead.
And I love that this is my favorite rendition of Thor through all these movies. I think Thor had the biggest character.
I agree.
Like, I love the way he was. He was with the long beard and the hair.
Well, you're not in the direction I was going because
you're not
the dude Thor.
Yeah, let's talk about thick Thor, if you will.
You're not into the fat shaming theories that are out there.
I love them. So much.
For once, I can say with all accuracy that Thor's body is based on me.
Yeah, no kidding. Exactly. Well, and also, I'm sorry, everyone who feels that way that it's fat shaming, and again, we can all say this as part of the Porkins, Red Squad group, the extracts, with the exception, of course, of diminutive Scoot. It's like, look. That is important. That is important to where Thor's characters go.
Wait! Did you just call me fat? What the hell?
He called us all fat except for Scoot.
He just caught up.
That's basically what he did.
He used these big words, but I'm thinking, wait a minute. I think he just called me fat.
Exactly.
It was actually brilliant. At the same time, he called us all fat and Scoot short.
That's all
They cracked the code, everybody.
Bravo!
They used the pin particles to travel through time and catch up with me. Anyway. No, it really when you're reaching for fat shaming, shame on you because I sympathize because I have heard a couple plus size people say that they felt a little uncomfortable, but it's like, look, man, this is about Thor. It's not about you. It's about a guy that failed in his own mind and let himself go and doubts himself.
Right.
And that beautiful moment with Rene Russo explained it all. And that's why I got even angrier when people were fat shaming and saying that it's fat shaming. It's like, no, man, this guy doesn't believe in himself anymore. And he needed his mother to say, relax. Right. We all feel that way. Don't worry about it. And it's like, wow.
My son calls him Thor. My son said, Daddy, Thor turned into a dude, bro.
He's the dude. He told me it's Lebowski. Absolutely.
He was hanging out with his boys playing video games.
That part was hilarious.
I love when Stark calls him Lebowski. I love
that.
So good.
Awesome. Every moment of this movie was fantastic.
What about Smart Hulk?
I love
Smart Hulk was awesome.
Love
Hulk was
that
he did the dad to sign an autograph for the kids.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
that man! Sure you do. Sure you do. Oh yeah, all right.
Yeah, sure you did.
He said, "No, take the phone."
When he's in New York and he's trying to be Hulk again, he's like, and he's just kind of like sloughing off the caps, like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, he saw himself, the angry Hulk. Oh, it's so good, man! Like the whole
what's so good about it is they gave so many. They had so many 100%. Character moments, like that first 2 hours, and I loved every minute of it. Like I didn't need all this action because you got it at the end. But like you got Nebula, you got to like her more. Ant-Man a lot more.
Yes.
Everyone. Hawkeye, especially. Finally, you got to see
Ronan.
Hawkeye more.
That blew my mind.
That's Ronan.
Yeah. I was thinking of Brian. That was because Bendis had that in his Avengers run.
Yeah, and you felt the emotion, the opening scene when he loses his family. Like I was like, damn, they got me. Like I want to
right away,
and Morgan Stark and all the little kid scenes.
Yeah.
Again, great writing because those could have been schmaltzy as crap,
right?
And instead they were nice.
At the end, when Favreau is saying to Morgan, we'll get you all the cheeseburgers you want.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm sitting in my seat like,
oh yeah,
That's a
I practically bit through my lip to try and not cry.
Right, and a reference to the very first Marvel movie reference. That was it.
All these people that saw pre-screenings before Thursday, like, oh man, I cried at this point. I'm like, I'm not going to cry at this movie. Are you kidding me? But man,
but again, why are they
three
saying
different times? I understand, but you know something, man. Unfortunately, we all suspected that either Tony or Cap was going to die, and everyone really thought that Cap was going to die.
I had no clue.
Well, and good for you, Artie. I'm glad you were able to stay underground and not see it. But I mean, all the signs were kind of pointing. Well, and also Chris Evans being so vocal about how he wanted out. And you just couldn't help it. If you went to any nerd sites, you'd see, headlines. Chris Evans films his last scene in Endgame or whatever, and it's like, oh. But that said, you're right. I mean, no, like I said, I started crying with Thor and his mother, and it's like, oh my god, and Howard and Tony and Howard Stark. Oh my god.
Yeah, one of the biggest moments of the movie, and I went in this with no spoilers. I stayed offline for a week, and the moment where all the portals open up, the big giant fight scene, and Cap's Avengers Assemble.
Oh, yeah.
That Cap looked like he was going to cry.
And Falcon
Avengers
on your left.
Assemble.
And it's like, on your left.
Yeah, And that fight scene, man, and we thought, up until this moment, we thought Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones did it. But this movie, man, those guys got to stop. They got to punch up their game now. Luckily that the Game of Thrones came on. I watched that last fight. We came home from it, and then we watched that, and I'm like, okay, they're competing, But that last Game of Thrones fight was as good as Avengers, but I still think Avengers outdid any movie scene. Up until this moment, Lord of the Rings was the big fight scene. And you can't compete now, man. Those portals open up, though, and that was it. And we had people in the theater shouted "Wakanda forever" when we watched it. It was so cool.
Yeah, it's just like one of those experiences, like sitting there in the theater, you can feel it, and you're like, it's going to be a long time before you feel something like this again.
It's going to take a lot of setup to get to that point. But I think we will. I have faith in them, man. I really do. I think especially once the Avengers X-Men stuff really gets cooking, we'll have a giant moment like that.
I don't know.
How do you not know?
I think that we'll have another big moment like that again, but it won't feel the same because now you're expecting meaning like you're expecting them to build this again, right? You're hoping that they build this again, however many movies it takes to get to that crescendo moment once again. But there's only one first time. I don't think you'll ever live that moment again.
Immediately when it's a different villain and different heroes, it's going to be it's because again, you go back to the Ewoks and Jedi and everybody and that last Rebel fight. You do Lord of the Rings. You do Game of Thrones.
That was the biggest thing, right?
Exactly.
It keeps getting better, and then you get to
Avatar.
the Matrix. It went. Return of Jedi was the best.
Did you just say Avatar?
And then
Avatar. But I'm saying no.
Avatar sucks.
Yes, say what you
real bad. Just watch Dances with Wolves or watch that Shogun movie with Tom Cruise. You're better off.
But Fern Gully, Condor Man.
It's true.
Avatar sucked.
Tangent real quick again. It is one of my greatest hopes right now. One of my greatest hopes that Endgame topples Avatar.
I do too, man.
Biggest movie of all time worldwide.
You know how good the Endgame is? They killed Thanos twice.
How awesome was that at the beginning when they kill him and you're like, there's like another 2.5 hours of this movie. What the fuck are they going to do for another 2.5 hours?
Because you know
Let's
what?
go get this son of a bitch.
They killed Darth Vader, the world's greatest villain. They only killed him once. Thanos, they killed him twice.
I loved hearing other...
and he jumped time.
I loved hearing other nerd shows on YouTube. I was watching, once I saw Endgame, and then I wanted to see every review show. And I was watching one of the Collider shows. and one of the hosts was asking, how is Thanos still so powerful without using the gems, and he was still formidable, and for at the end for Cap and Thor and Iron Man to attack him, and he's swatting him away, and it's great because all the comic book readers are like, yeah, he's still a Titan, yeah, he's like
like
Thor and like the Hulk, absolutely, he's one of the strongest people in the Marvel universe, and it was interesting, but the host is like, well, I don't get that, and it's like, and it's fine. If you don't know the comic book backstory, I can appreciate that. But yeah, it's like,
but they still set the tone that he was nigh invincible before he got the stones from Infinity War. So that doesn't make sense.
He beat up the Hulk in Infinity War, and he only had like one stone or something. He didn't even use a stone.
Very small, and it's not even a nitpick because I really love the movie and I don't care. But I was surprised that the Hulk didn't have a hand-to-hand, an actual fight, fist fight scene with Thanos again.
He was in the Hulkbuster armor.
Yeah,
he had that skinny arm, Johnny.
But he had what I really liked is that I haven't heard anyone talk about it. Is when Hulk was underneath Avengers Mansion holding it up.
Oh yeah,
yep.
And that was so much like what he did in Secret Wars.
Secret Wars. I thought the exact same thing.
Yeah, that was totally it.
He did it with one arm because he had that skinny arm. That was
his arm
after he brought everybody back.
And what I really liked too was, and like when Ant-Man was
like Johnny's for Junt.
But that's what I'm saying. Like even exactly. No, it's my Virgin is still. I haven't snapped yet to make my Virgin reduce.
Did it come back again?
I'm large, but I lost weight, but no, that's going to be one of the tough ones is getting the Virgin down. Absolutely.
It's like Quato.
Hey, listen, I have a couple of questions for you guys. Hold on. Here's a question. First, did anyone see Howard the Duck?
Yes.
Yeah.
I missed
him. I saw that.
No, I missed him.
Yeah.
Oh, in the movie? No, I thought you meant the 80s movie.
No, in the end scene, he's there when they all come through the portals. He's there.
I'm googling that.
I'm googling it right now. I mean, I really look.
I have no idea.
I look forward to seeing the movie again and really because now I can concentrate and really, and that's fine. I mean, that's the great thing about a second viewing.
I might try to see it. This weekend in Skokie.
Hey.
Oh, man.
That's right. Scoot's coming.
I'm never going to watch
Scoot's
any
coming
other
to town
movie
for free
besides
time.
And then my other big question, and I think I know the answer, but the funeral scene at the end, where they're panning to every group of movie people. There's that one kid standing by himself.
It's the kid from Iron Man 3.
Yep.
Is it?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
See, because that's what I thought, but I called.
I realized it right away. I realized it actually not in the movie, but when we were in the car and we were talking through the movie with the kids, and they were like, "Who is that one kid?" And I go, and it just all of a sudden it just came out. I go, "Oh, that's the kid from Iron Man 3." Like
the same thing happened to me, but I'm not sure. I'm like, that's got to be the kid from Iron Man 3.
Yeah, it's the weird thing in me when the kids say, "Who is that?" I say, "Oh, that's Tim Drake." I'm like, "Oh,
cool." You know what? We didn't really talk about because we talked so much about Cap because I don't know. For me, Cap's kind of like my favorite guy in all these Marvel movies. But in this movie, I felt like this was Robert Downey's best performance as Iron Man.
Oh my god,
he had so many different versions of Iron Man. He had the skinny, angry Iron Man at the beginning, and then he had the family Iron Man. Then he had like the traditional Iron Man, and then at the end, he was kind of like the the hero, selfless Iron Man.
Also, he's bigger hero than everybody else in that movie because he made more money than everyone else in that movie.
That's true.
The original deal that he signed, he made millions off this movie.
Yes.
And one of the best moments in the movie, but most subtle, was just Doctor Strange's little pinky standing up.
Scenario,
and I love that scene before because he said, how's it end? He said, if I tell you, it won't happen. And I'm like, oh, what's going to happen? And then that little pinky is like, this is it, this is it.
It wasn't his pinky, it was his forefinger.
But I understand.
He was holding it.
Yeah.
Was it his forefinger?
Yeah.
I thought it was his pinky.
See, all along, I thought he wanted to...
He's saying this is the one.
Yeah, this is it.
Otherwise, he'd be like a mafioso showing off his pinky ring. And it's like, hey, you like this? I got this injection. It's very nice. Hey, nice.
Oh, see, I thought that they were...
We got to go whack Thanos.
I thought it was like, we're all going to die. Can I shove this finger up your ass before we go?
His pinky was up his ice hole.
Well,
exactly.
I didn't realize it wasn't as peaky because I was watching the movie through tears. I was still crying. Since Cat caught that hammer. I'm still in tears. Like, oh my god!
Also, another teary-eyed scene and another one of those moments like the hammer when Tony Stark says, "I am Iron Man."
I am inevitable. I am Iron Man.
Yeah. I was like, yes, you are.
Oh
yes,
man,
I love
that. You heard me like this, like, oh my god, oh. I heard that a lot. You okay, Daddy? Yeah.
Feelings.
It's like when I look at my kids, I say,
stuck in my throat.
when I look at my kids, I go, I love you. That's how it was. Oh my god, Captain.
By the way,
when
Google
when they first
confirms
come
how
back
the Duck was in that scene.
Why would I lie to you?
Google confirms.
Ask Johnny.
Exactly.
Why would I lie?
I've learned my lesson. Exactly. At least for this week.
Yeah.
Sorry, Scoot. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say that scene right after Black Widow sacrifices herself, and they all come back, and they're all like, "Hey, everyone's back," and they're looking around, and Clint's just being really quiet, and then they're all out. The original Avengers are all out by that little dock, and Captain America's crying, and they're all sitting out there, and Thor is like, "Well, can't we go back to wherever you like take that stone back?" And Clint's like, he says something about like Red Skull, like, you go tell that red bastard, like this is what he told it or something. And it was like real good because they're like all starting to argue with each other again. Hulk throws that bench. It was like
So there was one moment in the movie that took me right out of the movie, and it was an arty, hey, that's Glenn Ford moment when they showed Jim Starlin, and I'm like,
Jim Starlin. I did the same thing. I went, that's Jim Starlin.
I mean,
did somebody tell you, or did that happen?
No, that happened, and it took me right out of the movie. It took me right out. And I'm like, that's Jim Starlin.
What part was he in?
I immediately in my head, I'm like, this is Artie. That's Glenn Ford.
When Steve
I saw him
the
in
group
it
therapy thing. The first, it's one of the Russos first.
Yeah.
And he's the old bald guy, Scoot. That's Jim Starlin.
Oh, I didn't even notice him over there.
Did you see Stan the Man in there? His last cameo.
Yeah.
But that wasn't him though. It was like a CGI. What was that?
It was a CGI thing, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Or was somebody who looked like Stan or something like that?
I think his last cameo was Captain Marvel.
Yes,
I think it was Stan, but they de-aged him.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
I think
because I was wondering.
I don't know if that's
and people were telling me, "Oh, when you see Stan Lee, you're going to cry," and I'm like, and I guess that was Stan. Now I know what you're talking about because I wasn't sure if I.
The Stan cameo that made me,
not war.
Yeah, the Stan cameo that made me cry was in
Wasn't
Spider-Verse.
Make Love Not War? Wasn't that Ego driving by?
No, that was Stan.
No, that was Stan Lee.
That was Stan Lee.
The bumper sticker said enough said.
Enough said.
Wow.
Said enough said.
I thought that was Kurt Russell as 70s Ego. Wow.
No. Would have been cool to have.
I don't understand what I don't know for sure is if that was really Stan or if that was like an homage to him.
I'm looking at a picture online, and it unfortunately won't say if it is or not, but I keep trying to click on it. It says content unavailable, but the picture that it shows, it doesn't look like Stan. Like it looks like it looks like a version of Stan, like someone
right.
Up as him, but it doesn't look like.
Because I'm almost positive his last cameo was in Captain Marvel, which is why when you watch the movie at the beginning, the Marvel banner comes up. It's all Stan Lee.
Yeah,
because it was an homage. And
it also says for Stan, doesn't it?
I know his name's at the end, Stan and Kirby.
No, not in Endgame. In Captain Marvel, I've heard that it says for Stan.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. But you know what? One of the most impressive things in the whole movie was reading the actors' names in the end credits. Who they had. Every actor in Hollywood was in this movie, and you know where that's stolen from, right, Art? Do you know where it's stolen from? No.
Star Trek VI, Undiscovered Country.
Oh, the signatures, yeah.
The signatures. That's where that was stolen from.
Oh, I didn't know that. I was looking at the credits like Michael Douglas was in there, Rene Russo, all of these people.
Well, yeah, no,
they all came back.
The core cast, they showed pictures of them, and they had their signature show up on the screen.
I see.
Yeah.
Oh, I never seen Star Trek.
Oh, hey.
Oh, yeah, it's stolen from Star Trek VI. They were like Shatner and Nimoy.
That was a way of telling everyone. Yeah, that was the way of telling everyone that's last.
I've got the article that explains Stan's cameo.
Yeah.
So he shot several cameos before his death in '95 last November. that would keep the comic book Titan alive in our minds long after he passed, but only Avengers would keep him young forever. Lee appears during the sequence in the 70s S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters where Tony and Steve have arrived in the midst of their time heist to get one more Tesseract. While they are scrambling not to get caught, Lee zooms in a white muscle car with a beautiful lady by his side and a groovy bumper sticker on the back saying "Enough said." It was one of Lee's catchphrases. It's hilarious and lighthearted cameo that comes complete with Steppenwolf's "Hey Lottie Mama" blaring and a de-aging effect that takes Lee back to his 70s appearance. It seemed like fun when we originally had the idea before Stan passed, Joe Russo told Entertainment Weekly. Oh, what did Stan look like in the 70s? Luckily, with Lee's gorgeous mustache and flowing hair, it wasn't too difficult for the Russo brothers to cast him as a free-loving hippie. Russo added, "It's sort of the hippie era, and Stan's cameoing as a hippie, and it's the free love era. He's saying make love, not war." Though most fans know Lee now as an aging, amiable, white-haired man, it takes no time at all to recognize Lee beneath the shiny de-aging effects, which have improved tremendously since Marvel first began testing him out in Ant-Man. Lee looks inarguably like himself, and having a blast with it, it gives a sweet finality to the cameo, which Joe and Anthony are still shocked they got to do to feature in the new film. It's the last Stan Lee cameo that made it to film, Joe said to Entertainment Weekly.
Oh, so it was Stan.
Oh, so it is Stan.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's cool, because, honestly, that's very funny. God, I'm dense. I really thought it was Kurt Russell, as Ego. And I'm like, God, even they got Kurt Russell to come back. That's awesome. Because Natalie Portman, she kind of left on bad terms, and that's why she's not in Dark World. Yeah, the
Natalie
second
Portman?
Thor movie. And
Yeah, they said that was an extra scene
that makes
they
sense.
had.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a second. She didn't come back for that movie?
she
She
was
come
in
back for
Dark-
Endgame?
She was
there
in the
were
Dark
leftover
World.
scenes from Thor
Yeah.
Dark World. That scene where she's telling everybody, "I have everything I need, thank you," or whatever she says at the beginning. If you look, that's not her. Her face is hidden, so you can't see that it's her. You can only see her in the room with Rocket. So that was a different actress that played that one.
But they showed her get out of bed, which was a clipped-in scene.
And she was on the red carpet for Endgame, so she was happy. She was happy to show up for the paparazzi.
For the
She probably got
paycheck,
paid.
probably.
Yeah,
sure
she
she
got
did.
paid
Of course
something,
she
I'm
did.
sure.
Well, no, I was reading something that explained that, and she goes, "Yeah, I'm open to maybe coming back if they ever do an Avengers 7 and want me back. I may come back."
Well, or God, let her be in Guardians 3. I really
Three?
hope Hemsworth is. I mean, they could obviously do a Guardians 3 without.
They
definitely.
can't tease you like that and not have him in it.
No, he's so good.
I hope
There's
so.
no
As
doubt.
Guardians of the
As
Galaxy.
Guardians, exactly.
Yeah, that's right, as Guardians of the Galaxy.
Have you read
And
that
I hope
comic?
he's still this version
Have
of
you guys read
Thor,
that
too.
comic,
I
As
don't want to
Guardians
see
of the
Rip
Galaxy?
Thor.
I saw it. I know
Cullen
Angela's
Bunn's
in
been
there.
writing it, and I did
Angela is in there,
That's
too.
right. She is. That's right. Neil Gaiman's Angela.
I'm still mad at him. Don't break it up.
Which, Cullen or Angela or Neil Gaiman?
Tony Danza.
I understand. From earlier
Are
in the
ya?
conversation, that's true.
Angela.
Mona. I gotta say, I mean, and this is back to the comic book of As Guardians of the Galaxy. I really don't. I really don't understand, other than the fact it was to satisfy Neil Gaiman, but to take Angela from Spawn and put her in the Marvel Galaxy, Marvel Universe, and like, oh wow, Angela's part of the Marvel Universe. I'm like, yeah, so it's like,
Yeah, I didn't like her when
it's
she
almost
was in
like
the
you
other
were playing
universe.
with your amigos, and all of a sudden you dropped He-Man in the middle of a fist fight with like all the Justice League or whatever, and it's like, yeah, all right, that's fine in the sandbox, but it's like, I don't really.
Well, technically, she connects Image Comics to Marvel.
Right.
Then,
Well, like
you
I
know?
said, no, it's Neil
is
created
cool,
her for Spawn, and I think Todd was like wanted to make amends with Neil.
Ah,
So I think McFarlane's like, oh yeah, take Spawn back. That's okay, buddy. And
one.
I love when Liefeld imitates Todd, because buddy, don't worry about it, buddy. He calls everybody buddy, and I like Todd. Todd was incredibly nice to me the one time I met him. He's a very sweet guy, and I don't mean any disrespect to him, but he does have that little speech impediment. That's all right. He was.
He'd probably make a good Ghost Rider.
One of the other burning
Back
questions
then,
I have
yeah,
about
yes,
the movie is if Tony Danza were in the movie, what Tony named character would he be in the Marvel
Who else
universe?
could he be?
Tony Banner.
Tony
Banner.
Stark.
Tony Banner. Come on,
Tony
Bruce.
Banner. Hey, yo. Hey, the time machine.
Tony Stank.
Natasha.
Exactly. He'd be Hawkeye. Natasha.
Cap. Natasha.
Captain America. Iron Man.
I know I'm supposed to be. I'm trying to think of who he could be. I know it's supposed to be.
Black
I know it's supposed to be
Panther.
Scott Summers, but can you call me Tony? I respond better when my character's named Tony.
Wolverine.
Logan. That's awesome. Xavier.
Black Panther.
Were any of you hoping that they were going to bring in that one last fight scene, the big battle scene, that just as throwaways they were going to have some other characters like just running across the field? I was kind of hoping for some Netflix characters, or maybe
that'd be cool.
or maybe even just Hugh Jackman. Just something, right? Like,
I wanted
something.
the Nova Corps. I wanted the Nova Corps to show up.
John C.
Yeah.
Reilly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's true. John C. Reilly.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know why it popped into my head, but like when the Thanos' ships, the guns turn up to the sky and they're shooting something in the sky.
Yeah.
For some reason, I wasn't even thinking Captain Marvel, and I said to myself, "Is Silver Surfer about to show up?"
Right. I was thinking Starjammers.
But
I thought Starjammers.
It would have been cool if they had Glenn Close and John C. Reilly with Nova Corps, and be like, "Now's our moment. Deploy all troops." And and Roger, and then all of a sudden you got like John C. Reilly in that cack pit, if you will.
You should have brought in Nova.
Glenn Close with the rabbit.
Carol Danvers. Yeah, I was thinking Starjammers all the way. I wanted to see Chad. That guy.
Oh, Chad.
I loved the guys from Ragnarok that were living with Thor and playing Xbox with him.
Oh, no worries, right?
Oh, yeah.
Thor, that guy's back.
That
kid's back again.
He had the rock guy.
The kid that annoys Thor online when he plays against him and stuff. So that kid's back.
Right.
Yeah. And you notice the guy they were playing, it almost looked like Deadpool. He had a red, you see the back of his head was red, like a red mask like Deadpool.
I didn't notice that.
It looks like Deadpool. It wasn't him, but it could have been. It had the red head. Like that. Deadpool.
Red Skull.
Yeah, it looked like him.
I love.
Who else was?
I loved it in Infinity War. I'm glad he was back for this movie. I think that was brilliant.
You know who plays too? It's
Lee Pace.
Mark. I thought it was Marquand, his last name. He's
from,
Ross
Marquand. Lee
Pace
plays somebody else.
He wasn't.
He plays Ronan. Sorry,
originally it was Agent Smith.
And
I forget his name now.
And the reason why Marquand got the role is because he does impressions in his stand-up, and he impersonates that Mr. Anderson guy. And he does it perfect, and that's how he did. Wow. That's why he got the Red Skull.
That's like fake Cornelius in Beneath the Planet of the Apes. I was busy making another film at the time, so Arthur Jacob recast the British actor to play myself. So people think I'm in the movie,
Cornelius hit me. Well, okay, that stuff happens. Okay.
No, that's a great moment.
Yeah, Cornelius hit me. Well, okay. He accepted that. Like, you should beat your chimpanzee wife.
I don't care.
You could.
I'm ugly as hell. Do you mind if I kiss you, Dr. Zayas?
Try this, my cold dead finger.
Do you mind if I give you a dirty Sanchez all over your face, Dr.
You're so damn ugly. She was to be our new Eve. We were all going to pile on her one at a time. Instead of bringing 3 women, we brought 1. It would take the human race 3 times as long.
I hope you did your Kegel exercises, because you're going to be busy on this planet.
They should have brought 3 guys and like 18 women, but they weren't thinking. Should have had 2 ships.
There's Dodge, and then what's the other guy's name? Brent. No, not Brent. Landon. Landon's the one that almost looks like Montalban. Could have almost been Ricardo Montalban as Landon.
Yeah, she was going to be the new Eve. Why didn't they bring more women? They didn't really think that through, did they?
3 and 1 Eve?
They should have brought like a ship full of girls. You know?
Did you say ship full?
She probably cracked open her hibernetic chamber purposely. Like, I'm not gonna deal with 3 guys horn dogging me for the rest of the life.
We need a range from like 18 to 35. We need that range, and then and then we'll work out, the older ones first. That's what they should have done instead of bringing one poor girl.
Man, this is when I need to talk to Andrew Gaska, who wrote those 2 amazing novels that Boom published that take place in the middle of the Ape movies. Like, he wrote the backstory of how Dr. Milo dredges up the spaceship, the Icarus, and is able to fly it back to 1970s. And then also great pre-launch scene where the astronauts are at a party, and Landon and Taylor are talking and stuff, and man, it's so sad. I mean, you just get their backstories and how they really. I've got nothing left in this world.
Well, you got to remember too. It compares. Like, I thought about it recently. Like, we were talking about everyone came from Adam and Eve, but Adam and Eve had 2 boys.
So where did the broads come from?
So what
exactly.
Happens?
Exactly. Eve
I don't
she
understand.
used to be our Eve. Exactly.
And there has to be listen. Hey, God, can you make some more women?
Hey, I'm leaving these ribs outside the door. Do you mind creating a few more broads for us? Thank you.
Extra barbecue sauce.
Adam's ribs.
She used to be our new Eve, and she's like, hey.
Well, all this ape talk has me thinking, didn't Marvel do, apes? Like a year of apes or a month of apes a few years ago?
No, that was DC.
Oh,
DC did that. Like 20. That was like, believe it or not, that was like 20 years ago.
Was it?
Well,
yeah.
Well, DC,
Marvel did that too, didn't they? Where they turned everybody into an ape or something like that?
Yeah, everyone turned into
an ape. I remember Cap Ape.
I think so.
I remember Cap Ape in particular. Mark Ruin.
No, Cap Wolf
as well.
Cap Wolf.
But Marvel or DC crossed Green Lanterns with the Planet of the Apes.
Oh yeah.
And Cornelius was a Green Lantern, and Zaius was orange. They actually crossed over.
By brightest day and darkest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Yes.
I dissect.
Yes. Can you bring my wife some more Grape Juice Plus, please? Thank you. I said, inhumane. Do you realize I have a circus?
Do you? Slowly, human bastard.
Suddenly, Endgame has turned into an impromptu session of ape talk, everybody.
It would have been good. I
like it.
All right, I'm going to rein it back in.
All right.
I'm going to rein it back in.
Yeah.
Who was surprised that when they went back in time, it was Tilda Swinton instead of...
I love
that was cool.
I'm very happy she had something
I totally
to do.
was like,
Absolutely.
oh, yeah.
It was very cool.
I really wish...
Instead of who?
Doctor Strange.
Instead of Doctor Strange.
Because he wasn't Doctor Strange yet.
Because he wasn't Doctor Strange yet.
Yeah, that was cool.
But when they said they were going to go back, I was like, oh, all right, they're going back to see Doctor Strange. No, they weren't. Like, I didn't catch that until it happened. I was like, oh, that's
who I was surprised to see was Robert Redford.
Me too.
When he showed up, I was like, whoa, they brought Robert Redford back from he retired.
Really cool, yes.
All of them.
What I really liked about those scenes was especially the New York one inside Stark Tower is you're seeing like what they're doing and saying immediately after they caught Loki, and I thought that was kind of cool to see.
Yeah.
I loved the fact that they went back and visited these different movies throughout the Marvel Universe time.
Yeah, that was really cool.
In Guardians of the Galaxy when he's on that planet and singing like. And you hear him like his headphones. You hear the music from his headphones, but when you're outside with Don Cheadle, you're like, he's an idiot, I loved
the stairs
that.
Was cool.
Yeah,
that was funny. Like it was all the scenes that were not in the other movies.
Right.
It was really fun. Yeah.
Right. It was Back to the Future.
Totally.
Yeah.
Back to the Future 2. It was Back to the Future 2.
I think it was at WonderCon where they had the whole cast together and they had Favreau moderating. And at the start of the conversation, he says, well, we're all here to discuss Iron Man 22. Because that's exactly what Endgame is. It's like, it's one story, man, that started with Tony and Iron Man and ended with Endgame. And that's beautiful. And everyone laughed, obviously, but it's like kind of true. It really is Iron Man 22. Yeah. And that's amazing. It was, what a feat. I mean, I even though I do think there will be more great Marvel giant battle moments and other connected films and stuff like that. I don't think they'll wait 22 movies like they did in this case.
I would love Secret Wars.
I think it'll happen.
Yeah,
I think it'll happen.
I think Secret Invasion might happen.
I agree with that.
See, they already introduced the
especially with
Skrulls.
Skrulls being Captain Marvel and everything,
And that's how you bring Tony Stark back, because that one that died at the end was a Skrull. No, I'm just kidding.
Or that's a way that you could have cameos of Downey and Chris Evans that are revealed to be Skrulls. So you never know.
Yeah, it's like, hey, Captain America's back, and everyone's like, what?
Right.
And it's him. You
got it.
Once X-Men and Fantastic Four and Galactus and all that stuff show up, that's when they're going to restart the Marvel Universe with these new characters.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, Captain Marvel and Rogue,
there's a Phase 4.
Yeah.
There's a Phase 4 happening, which is the next phase of the... But everybody's thinking Spider-Man Far From Home is the beginning of Phase 4. But Kevin... Far From Home. But Kevin Feige said that it's not. It's basically still part of this phase. So it's kind of like an epilogue type thing.
The Widow movie, is that going to be in the past or is that going to be after Endgame?
It is. It's been confirmed it's in the past.
Because that was a shock because I'm like, wow, I guess we're not going to get ScarJo Widow movies now. They were lying to us, and it's like, well, you got Captain Marvel up and running, and you got all the women in Guardians and the various women characters. That was a really, and again, I sound condescending when I say it, but that was a good moment when all the women are like, no, we got her back, and it's like, good for you, honey. Go out there and
all the
go
women
ahead and
lined
hit the
up.
bad guy for a while. Good for you.
When all the women lined up for that scene,
it was A-Force.
When they all lined up the scene, it was a good moment. But I thought, there's the internet videos they're gonna make about this scene, like the anti-women scene. Here it is.
Oh sure.
Here's for all those guys.
And good. That's a good FU to all those jerks anyway. But I enjoyed them, but I
that's the scene they're gonna nitpick.
It's good to mention A-Force. Honestly, man. And please, I'm sure I'm not the only person saying this, but I tell the Marvel guys all the time. It's like, that was the best thing to come out of Hickman's Secret Wars was A-Force, and I don't know why you guys stopped doing it, because that would solve a lot of problems, and rightfully so. They have enough women heroes to do a legitimately cool superhero team, and it's like that. You give whether you have a man or a woman writing or drawing it doesn't matter. It's like you have all those great women heroes on one team like that. That's a brilliant idea, and it shouldn't have gone away.
And they're supposed to do a She-Hulk show for the Disney Plus.
I'm very interested in all the Disney Plus shows.
And that would be cool to bring in She-Hulk and have her lead the A-Force. That would be so good.
Absolutely.
Now,
that'd be really
I forget, is the other show the Hawkeye Vision, Hawkeye Scarlet Witch?
WandaVision.
WandaVision,
WandaVision,
so I guess
right?
the rebooting Vision.
And then Falcon.
Falcon and Winter Soldier, and the Loki show. Everybody, welcome to the Loki show.
The Loki's a miniseries,
I don't
right?
know. I have no idea.
I think the Loki's a miniseries,
But I know
he's got that cute
and the animated What If, which I'm very excited about. The animated What If. I think that's brilliant.
Yeah,
that's right.
Because I almost wondered if Loki stealing the Tesseract as he did was going to be the impetus for What If. You know what I mean?
It might be. Yeah.
What about Bucky and a Falcon? Or is it going to be called Bucky and Cap now?
Yeah, he should be Cap, Captain America.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it would be Bucky and Cap. You're right.
He could be called Captain Falcon.
Well, or the story, much like in the Sam Wilson book, can be about how he takes the mantle, and there might be people in the country that don't like the fact that a black guy suddenly is Captain America, and that might be it.
They could do it. Red Skull.
And they could be like, he could say, okay, would you rather have this terrorist?
Ladies and gentlemen, instead
Winter
here's
Soldier?
Tony Danza. I'm the new Captain America. I got the shield.
Captain America.
Captain America.
I like that.
Yeah, they got to make more. But I'm not going to watch them because this movie is too good. I don't want to reopen it. It's like being a Sox fan. I don't want to do it.
You're at least 2 to 3 years away from anything big like this.
You drop the mic and you leave the room and don't come back. That's
he's a few months away. Spider-Man Far From Home.
But those are
Johnny.
individual movies. I don't think the next big movie will be. I'm assuming Guardians 3 as far as big group. I'm saying within the Marvel universe because I'm not even counting. I'm not even counting Dark Phoenix or anything like that because
Oh yeah,
I'll see it.
That movie looks bad. That movie looks really, really bad.
I know. It's.
Yeah,
I know. I'm
see that
nervous.
one. I like
and I heard
the
they reshot like
hurting
a lot
ones.
of Act 3 or whatever. And how about stupid New Mutants or New Mutants, right?
Is it gone?
They keep pushing it back.
Is it gone?
They
They pushed it back, yeah.
Ooh,
Just put it out there. They should put it as a double feature with
the
Dark
Inhumans
Phoenix.
pilot. Oops. And I totally forgot, Francis,
see
that Captain Pike from Discovery was blackballed in the Inhumans TV show. Holy shit.
It's
Oh,
racist.
that's right. Yeah.
Yes, he
Why can't
was.
they just call the guy Bolt?
Exactly. Why's it got to be blackballed? And Jake's so funny on
Saying Bolt.
on YouTube. I noticed that they reposted the SNL sketch of the death of Superman, where when Sinbad's Black Lightning, and Chris Farley's the Hulk, and at first he's like, Hulk, not good with words, and he puts his reading glasses on. He's like, Superman was an inspiration to us all, the epitome of a superhero. Just using all the $10 comic books. Hulk, not good with words.
Yeah. And I gotta be honest though. I grew up most of my life as a DC fan, and I still am a
Me
DC
too, actually. Go on.
guy. I like DC,
Batman animated.
but these movies, these Marvel movies, what they've done is like, I don't know. It's just like
a
you
whole
get that
generation of
feeling.
Marvel fans.
Yeah, it's like you just, I don't know. It's just something special. You feel it.
Yeah, you do
good.
that. But it's lightning in the bottle. I don't think they're going to be able to do it again.
They can't. Not with the end finale like that.
They can prove you wrong.
I hope they do.
And exactly, and I look forward to the attempts. I have no problem with that. They.
I really wish Warner Brothers would
Oh God, yeah.
Right.
figure
You know
out
what's
how to do
interesting?
something like that.
Rob Burnett was saying on his show, and he's kind of right. He's like, if I were Kevin Feige, I'd walk away because how do you top this? And that's why it's like,
Go
drop
back
the
to
mic
bed.
and and it's funny because of course Burnett said, and I'm totally with him. He's like, God, please walk away from Marvel and come to CBS and fix Star Trek, please. And it's like, because he is a Star Trek fan. Kevin Feige is a Star Trek fan.
He is right, Johnny. Like he could walk away now, or he could stick around, and it could have that whole George Lucas effect where people like turned on it when he made the prequels.
The only thing that could happen, like Star Wars they have to bring back Luke, Leia, Han Solo, Chewbacca, and Lando all in one scene. And they have to be like, oh, remember when Han Solo fell off that bridge? Well, he's not dead. He got saved. Boba Fett saved.
We need Captain America to go back and exactly fix Star Wars continuity.
And Anakin Skywalker.
Right.
And Skywalker didn't die on that planet. He teleported.
Yeah, that was just another
He
projection.
teleported to save Han Solo.
He teleported to save Han Solo, right? He went back in time. He teleported back in time.
Yeah.
I am actually going to call that Luke Skywalker is alive. I'm going to call it right now.
I don't think he's alive. I think
I am going to say
a ghost like Obi-Wan myself, but
I am going to say that there is a force, because now there's all these new force powers. There's going to be a force power of resurrection because the Emperor is back. How is the Emperor back?
Well, the Emperor is back, but they have clones. He has clone bodies. That's been established in a lot of the books.
That was in the books, yes. That was in the book.
Dark
and
Empire, man.
Hey,
what a great story that was. The from the comics.
Yeah.
I love that. Truly one of my favorite Star Wars stories.
They've gone on record saying that when Disney took it over, all that other stuff
doesn't exist.
Well, I understand, but that doesn't mean they can't
expunged.
steal from it. They own it. They own it all.
Yeah.
No, true, but they haven't established any of that. Well, they established.
I have faith. Well, they've established clones in the regular Star Wars canon.
They have,
so that's why I think it's like inevitable that he'll be Palpatine.
Also,
But you still need to get the person in there, the essence, the person, the soul, whatever it is.
It's
some kind of force resurrection.
Skywalker.
You're a brain transplant.
By the way, I was at Star Wars Celebration.
Yeah, why don't you
too.
talk about that? Go ahead.
I was. Artie, were you there for the Episode 9 trailer? No, you were there on the Saturday.
I was
right?
home watching it on my iPad. I watched every live panel on my iPad with Jamie Cosley at the kitchen table eating chips and drinking beer at like 9 in the morning.
So I was in the room when the Episode 9 trailer premiered, and when Ian McDiarmid came out and said, "Play it again," I thought people were going to pass out from excitement, like Elvis was on the stage.
Again.
People were so like, "Oh my!"
He's the emperor.
He's the emperor.
They showed that on the live feed, and we watched it. And our house exploded with laughter and joy.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. It was pretty crazy in the room when that happened. The whole place erupted.
How about the Mandelbaum TV series, Mandalorian, whatever it's called, man. I like calling
the Mandalorians.
Hello, I'm here to fix the
Mandelbaums.
I understand it's a little
shaky.
I
am made
nice to see you.
Do you realize I did not die?
Yeah, the Mandelbaumian. Absolutely, that would be better. Do you realize I'm a bounty hunter?
I prefer not to fight you today.
I like it. Ooh, we should do that.
But from what I heard too in the Sith lore, is that Sith ghosts could come back. They established it in I think it was Clone Wars or Rebels, that but they come back like fiery, like the devil almost, like fiery red, almost like Kylo Ren's lightsaber. They're all flaming.
Hello?
Hey, they're all crazy.
We're the
I'm back. Hey,
all right, let me tell you what's wrong with this room. Sith eye for the straight guy. Okay, first of all, you got to rethink. You need a helmet. Helmets look good. People like helmets.
Helmets.
And
plus, any actor could play you in the future.
Can you wear red and black paint on your face and put a couple horns on there? People like that. Sith eye for the straight guy.
I'm a Sith. They're going to call you Lord. Sith Lord. Sith eye for the straight guy. Sith eye for the Jedi.
That's even better. Sith eye for the Jedi. I like it. Jedi.
Hello.
For the Sith guy.
My dad's here again. Luke Skywalker.
Now, first of all, that Empire music, very negative. I don't like it.
Annie? Little Annie?
Why you making my clothes look funny? I don't like it.
There's also a story where Vader goes back to Tatooine and chokes Watto. I look that up.
What do you think, you're a Jedi or something?
Choking me. Mind tricks don't work.
I love
the Force choke work on him?
I like him a lot better than I like. I know. Well, but it's just like some ethnicity.
Jar Jar?
Better than Jar Jar. Jar Jar is totally like, if you're from Jamaica, somebody's going to punch George Lucas in the mouth. We don't all talk like that.
That guy got a standing ovation when he
did standing ovation.
He's the Bartman of if you don't mind the baseball analogy. He is the Steve Bartman of Star Wars, where it's like it's not his fault, man. It's okay. We forgive you.
No, he did good. I like him. You know what happened? Like every morning, like Friday morning of Star Wars Celebration, and we end up going Saturday. And thank you so much for Mike Negin, because we were there at 6 a.m. We were there at 6 a.m. to get our World Cup tickets. And,
oh my God! Why?
And they said, because we were excited. We're like, all right, we could either get there at like 11, or we could get there at 6 and just have the adventure all day and see what happens. So that's what we did. So we only had to wait in line for about 3 hours, but we went to will call line, and it said will call opens at 8, and we were at 6, and we're like, all right, we'll just wait here. And a lady looked up and said, come here, guys. So she gave us our things, and I told her my name, and said, yeah, my buddy Mike Negin. She goes, yeah, I know Mike. I was like, all right. Yeah, what's your name? That's awesome. Here you go. And we got the coolest badges with Vader on them.
Who was your number
two?
So
then we were...
that's right. Yes, go on.
So we're walking around acting like old guys. We're like, here, let's just take our time and take pictures in front of everything. So the guys who let us in to get woke up, they're watching us the whole time. And he was like, they're going to go make us wait outside. Like, yeah, but let's just act like old guys. Let's look at this and like look at our watches and sit down and tire. So we were stalling. And then they said, so what are you guys looking for? Help you in anything? And I'm like, you know what? I haven't had my coffee today. Is there any coffee shops in here? And they're like, yeah, up the stairs, but they don't open for another 2 hours. So in the meantime, you have to go out those through doors, go to the end of the line. So we just walked through real slow. And the guy who told us to walk out there, he finally cut up because EJ had to do something. So he walked past. And I forgot what Jamie said, something. Oh, we're getting there. So he goes, I know what I told you. And then he just walked past us. We eventually made it out there. But
will mess you up,
yeah, we made it out, but they let us in pretty quick, and we only waited in line for about 2 hours, but maybe 2.5 hours.
Let me tell you. All right.
No, we weren't. We were acting like we're full.
Artie, you didn't come visit me, Artie. I thought you were going to come. I was at the Wind Trust.
Oh, that's
the
nice.
Wind Trust.
Oh, I didn't.
I was.
Because you know what? Every morning before we left, like Friday, we were here all day and we saw the news coverage, and then we watching the videos, and we were playing toys on my rug, and we were watching the movies. And then when they announced Palpatine was in it, we put Return of the Jedi on. We watched that whole thing. So it was funny because we were playing toys, and Jamie even said, we better clean up before Rose comes home because she's not going to want to. So we acted like kids all day. But every morning, Friday morning, we watched Fox News, and Saturday morning, we were watching the news, and every morning we saw you on the news.
Walking around in the background.
Oh, did you really?
Like, here's my Negin.
Awesome.
Yeah, like kept pausing and rewind. And I recorded on my iPad to make a little video. And we got you, helping people in line. But there was an awesome moment where you went and helped a little guy in a wheelchair. And you shook his hand and said, but you were in the background, like, there he is. That's Mike Negin. That's the essence right there. That's why they put him in charge of the line, It was really cool.
Well, that's exactly what they did. They put me in charge of the front of the Wind Trust, where all the big panels were held. So I was outside, which was a lot of fun because I got to interact with a lot of fans, even though Sunday was a blizzard. And I stood out in that for 6 hours.
Because I texted you on Saturday, but I don't think you got it. You're too busy.
I did not. No, I didn't get a text from you. I would have answered you.
I got your old phone number.
I was actually waiting. I was like, I wonder why Art didn't call.
Yeah, I tried. Maybe it's the old number. I don't know. But something happened.
Maybe. I don't know.
But it was cool because, when we were waiting in line to get in, it was 9:53. The place opened at 10. And everyone's pushing. They're anxious. So they let people in. And instead of going through the main gates, people knocked over that curtain. That rail, bam! It got knocked over.
Oh, yeah.
People just went sideways they broke through the wall. And I got kind of shoved, but I had to leap over the railing that fell. And everyone just ran past us. And I found out, what's happening. And I found out that Lando and C-3PO were signing autographs at 10 o'clock. So they all ran to the back. And we just moved to the side, man. Almost got trampled. It was like a AC/DC concert or something. So it was like in 1978 AC/DC concert. So it was crazy. The
Celebration fans are pretty intense.
Yeah.
For the most part, they were all great, but there was a couple of hairy moments like that I've never seen anything. On the Thursday, there was no programming in the Wind Trust, so I was at the show store, and I was there when the show store opened.
Oh, yeah.
And I've never seen anything like this in my life. As soon as we opened the doors, as it were, people would run in with garbage bags. They already had garbage bags, right? And they would have them and they'd go to a shelf that had 20 lunch boxes on it, and they would literally put their arms behind the back of the lunch box and scoop everything off the shelf into the garbage bag.
God.
The shelves emptied in minutes, and it was packed. I've never seen anything like this. People just it was like Black Friday times 1,000. People were just
So were those free tchotchkes, those lunch boxes and stuff like that?
No, this was all stuff you had to pay for.
Go on.
And not
I know
cheap.
that.
Yeah, it says Star Wars. It says Star Wars Celebration on them. So
it says Star Wars Celebration.
But how, did they immediately go in the line to buy them?
Pretty much everything in the show store was exclusive.
Yeah,
somebody would,
because Franco, and you guys correct me obviously because you were there, but I remember Franco talking about how back in the day, at least to buy art, whatever artists were doing in Artist Alley, you wouldn't actually get your thing until you would pay. All right, it's $20. Fine, you give. You don't even give the art. I don't even know how it happened, but you'd get a receipt. And you wouldn't get your stuff until the end of the day when you went to the cashier, and that's when you finally got your merch and everything like that. So how were they able to get these?
No, these people got their merch right then and there. It was all on the shelves.
That's the store shelf, but I was talking about with artists and stuff like that in Artist Alley.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I thought everything was like that. Who's that a picture of?
It was crazy.
Who was that a picture of?
It was
because that works good on an audio podcast.
It disappeared.
But all right, go ahead. What was it?
It was really intense. The show stuff. People were
was that a
grabbing
photo from
10
Celebration?
T-shirts,
Somebody grabbing something?
I don't know. I didn't send that picture. I don't even know what you're talking about.
I'm looking at your numbers, and it was the same number that we've been texting on today. So I don't know why it didn't go through. Yeah, something. Maybe it was the Wi-Fi there or something. Maybe it was my stupid phone.
Maybe it was my
Johnny,
stupid
it's
phone.
a picture of Michael Jackson holding his son over that balcony, and it says, "Y'all remember when Michael Jackson was trying to get the Soul Stone?"
You should have went to James Brown.
Are we done? Are we
James
done?
Brown has a Soul
Or are
Stone.
we continuing our Endgame talk?
Yeah, I think
No, we
I
can go back
It's
to
either way. And
I gotta get-
right, it's
I gotta get
11:15.
going.
It's a school
You
night.
guys-
I understand.
I think the Bucky guy should play
Bucky.
Luke Skywalker when they reboot Star Wars.
Whoa.
You know they're gonna.
Oh yeah, Sebastian
Oh, yeah, he
Stan.
totally played.
Yeah.
He'd be good Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Yeah, yeah. It's got a good
That's
face.
very good. I like that. Well, that's interesting because there was a soap opera actor from All My Children in the 80s, Michael E. Knight, and he played Tad Martin. And if you look him up, I thought, especially when he was younger, he looked like a John Romita Peter Parker. And I'm like, this guy should play Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Now it's too late. He's like older than he's like pushing 60. As I say, he's older than me.
I always thought the guy from Lost Boys. The guys from Lost Boys, Michael, that
Patrick,
guy. I thought he would be a
Jason
good
Patrick?
Superman.
I can see.
Yeah,
him
I think
being a Peter Parker.
he would have been a perfect
You're
Superman.
eating maggots, Michael.
That's gross. Whoa.
Michael. Yeah, that guy.
And Bill from Bill and Ted is one of the Lost Boys. Winter.
That's right.
Yes.
Alex
Alex Winter.
absolutely. Alex Winter has had the most interesting post Bill and Ted career. I used to love his MTV show, which was a crazy comedy show. And he's made some of the best documentaries about the internet. He did that one about the dark web, which is amazingly cool. And he also did the one about the history of Napster. And both of them are like ridiculously great.
And he also directed a whole bunch of Cartoon
Yep.
Network
Yep.
movies.
No,
Yeah.
I'm a big fan.
Wife.
Wow.
Hey. Hello.
And they're going to be doing Bill and
Yeah,
Ted
I'm
3.
excited for Bill and
But
Ted 3.
that's a conversation for another time
Okay,
because
fair
I'm
enough.
out.
Finally.
True, literally, finally. It's true. All right, so again, obviously we all loved Endgame, and we recommend it, and I enjoyed our little... We can continue on the Star Wars Celebration detour for the people that were at Star... Has anyone actually been in... Who here has not been in outer space? that was
That's good.
And they raised their hands.
Yeah, I want to see those years where Rocket and those guys were
I love-
Avengers.
Yeah, me too, those
I
fighters.
loved every scene with Rocket in it.
He's always...
He
Yeah.
just
Well,
made the movie for me.
Even as Guardians chasing him, calling him a rabbit. Get that rabbit!
And all the mashups. And all the, that's the thing, man. Again, this culmination of 21 movies and smashing all these different separate Marvel things together. Every scene rang true. And that's why, like, every scene with Rocket with all these other people rang true. Everything was great. Oh, man. And I have been rewatching Infinity War, as I'm sure 90% of us who saw Endgame this weekend already have done. And it's so great to rewatch it
I
and
did
everything.
too.
And it's so goddamn good. Who calls Mantis the antenna girl or whatever? Oh,
Rocket.
Rocket.
He forgets her. You don't know her name.
He talks about Captain Marvel's haircut.
Yeah.
Every funny scene has got him in it.
Yeah, he goes, so you're going to change your haircut again or something?
Yeah, there's this whole Avengers team that we didn't really get to see. Like it's Rocket, Nebula, War Machine, Captain Marvel. Those guys.
Natasha and I agree. No,
Yeah.
wearing their Star Trek uniforms. Those are like Federation uniforms. Those red and white Avenger uniforms. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I'd like you to meet my new crew. You all know Steve Rogers, Natasha, Clint Walker. He likes to call himself Roman. I hope that's not a problem with our Asian friends. All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. We can wrap.
All right, guys.
All right.
You guys keep talking. I'll
right.
see you when I see you. I like
Good
Pick very
night.
much, Lois.
Good night, Francis.
Yeah.
I like Big
we
very
were
much
wrapping,
Lois
or
as
Scoot's
well.
got to go because he's...
Well,
he set
I got to go
he set
too.
his 50
I got to
minute
work.
limit for the podcast, so he's got to go.
I'll be right back,
All right.
but I won't.
All
I'm like
right.
Captain
Good-
America.
good
I'm
luck
going to
with
be
the
right
addition.
back, guys.
Good luck,
And then
good luck with the
boys.
addition on the new house.
Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah, house.
I'll be in Skokie this weekend.
Yeah.
Bring the
comic
table saw,
book day.
nice workout.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Attaboy.
I'll take you to Harold's.
Oh, that's right. So,
Yeah.
Scoot's going to be at Skokie for Free Comic Book Day on Sunday for those of us still listening. And with Artie.
With Artie. And then Mike, are you going to be with me here in New York?
I will be there with you.
With any other
And Brother
luminaries
Johnny.
coming in for Harrison and for Skokie for that matter. Any other creators?
Yes.
You don't need any.
We have.
He said yes.
We have
that's the point.
Steve Ellis and
David
Gallagher.
I love those guys. Give them my best.
We got Daniel Kibblesmith,
Nice.
Deadpool, Black Panther crossover thingy, and he works on Stephen Colbert Show, and Mariano Brothers and Greg and Jacob.
I love those guys.
And me. I'll be there.
Yeah, we got Steve Englehart coming by, Brian Michael Bendis,
No, but
Ron Friends.
What other
Some
creators besides yourself and Scoot?
No, they're not coming. Gene
Justin
Colan,
Castaneda.
Yeah, Justin Castaneda.
Is the Davy Jones of the All Yeah Comics group going to be there?
Oh, Alejandro? Not sure. I'm not. There'll be a bunch of us there.
Jeffrey
I know.
Brown.
Brian
Jeffrey Brown's coming.
Jeffrey
That's
Brown
awesome.
will be
Vader's
there.
little princess.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, he'll be there.
good stuff.
And Justin Castaneda. And Scooter
Harold
Manhole
Chicken.
and me.
Yeah.
And
If I'm
All right, boyos.
All right,
I'm signing off.
Bye-bye now.
I'll talk to you later. I'll see you on Saturday, Mike.
See you on Saturday, bro.
Scooty,
Oh, yeah,
if I'm
Franco.
not,
Okay, bye-bye.
if I'm not working Saturday night, I will definitely come because it's
Okay,
kind
cool.
of it's I can get there through the L, of course.
Yeah,
But
cool.
it's
All right.
It's if I'm not working Saturday night, I definitely will come.
Awesome. All right.
I'll
All right,
be
guys.
there.
I'll see Artie too.
Yeah, I'm
May the 4th be with you.
May the-
force it in you? What?
Yeah.
May to force your
It's
endgame.
true. What's up, my Thanos here? What happened to that other Infinity Stone?
It
That's
is.
not where it is.
They don't call it the
There
end
you
game
go,
for no
exactly.
reason.
Oh,
That whole the Ant-Man
I like
theory
to-
didn't
yeah,
come
to-
true.
I like to think of a theory that Cap went back in time and he had that hammer with him. What if he grew his hair out and he just started telling people to call him
We
Thor?
become Thor.
Oh, that'd be cool. You'd be
Yeah,
very.
he's like,
I
I'm
like it.
Thor.
very
Captain
Thor
America
today.
died in the ice.
No, I really
May
do
the
like
fourth
that.
be with you.
I'd
I'm
like
very
to see
Thor.
Captain America: The Secret Missions, and I'd love to see him in the Steve Rogers action suit. So it's not. Although that's still got the star on it, and he'd be dumb to wear that. Obviously, maybe we'll have like the black Cap outfit from Infinity War, covert.
U.S. agent.
Exactly. Yes. Or when he was just the captain. When he was
I
just
still
the
watch
captain
Infinity War.
with the black outfit.
Yeah, when he shows up, when the train drives by and he shows up, that's still a cheering moment
Oh, yeah.
with Cap. Like, wow, they're done for. He doesn't even have his shield, but you still know he's going to win.
He catches that spear. She
Sorry.
throws it.
I like it.
Yeah.
What music is that?
There it is. The theme song.
That's
Were
the
you happy
Avengers.
with the score music, Scoot? I know you're always a nitpicker on the Marvel music.
Yeah. No, I said from the beginning of all these Marvel movies, the Avengers have the only score that that's really memorable. Like I can't tell you what Iron Man's score is. He doesn't really have one.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
the Avengers do.
I hear you.
I remember the Sam Raimi Spider-Man had a score.
Yeah, it did. That's
I
a
remember
good one.
that
Yep.
one.
Danny Elfman.
Yeah, that's a good one. But it's hard to say. That's how it goes.
Not to be confused with a good 70s song like Wakachu, Wakachu, Wakachu.
Yeah, all the Charlie's Angels and Starsky and Hutch always had that cranking thing.
Exactly. I like on Mystery Science Theater 3000, the last episode with Joel Hodgson, and they do the Joe Don Baker cop movie, Mitchell. And Mitchell has Wakachu, Wakachu music, and Tom Servo does it. He goes, Wakachu, Wakachu, Wakachu. Good stuff. It's a good movie.
All right, guys.
Are you done too, Scoot?
I'll be right back.
But he won't.
All right.
It's like Cap.
Never
We're going to
say
come back
never.
and it's going to be a
Yeah, I'm
110-year-old
Cap.
Scoot.
Okay,
and I'll
Scoot.
go, hey, Johnny, all those times you made fun of my microphone and remodeling my house, fuck you, Johnny.
He's gonna say, "Here's my hammer and my buzzsaw. It's
Why don't
you're the
you
new
suck on Jamie Farr's balls.
I
Right
give
down
it to
here,
Johnny.
buddy.
Yeah.
hand over the squeaky table and the
true.
bag of chips. Here you
Be a
go.
100-year-old Scoot. Scoot, what happened? Scoot, you got married. What happened to Kendra?
You can finish this
You want to
bag
tell
of
us
corn
about it?
chips.
No, I don't.
Oliver's
No,
going
I
to be
don't.
like, yeah, come on, Dad. We got to go. Hey, there you
Oh,
go.
he's gonna have a beard. It's gonna look like
he's
Cap.
unpacking his Black & Decker toolkit there.
He's gonna say hello, Yoko
I like it.
Chips.
I want that to happen. 110-year-old Scoot on the park bench, just sitting there. Hey, how are you?
All right, guys. Well, I'll see Artie on Saturday.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure talking to Mike and Johnny. So talk to you guys later.
All right, it's good. Okay, bye-bye.
See ya.
And then there were 3.
Bye-bye. And soon to be 2, because I'm going to go too.
I know it's like your
Oh,
time.
yeah, East
Exactly,
Coasters.
11:30. Oh yeah, East Coast.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, East Coast.
Too funny, man.
All right, gents. We're in the end game now.
Good job,
it's time
Michael.
to go.
Yeah, we're all fading
you
out.
handled it. Like I said, if you want to punch me in the mouth the next time you see me, I totally deserve it.
You gotta say, I don't
Never,
want
Johnny, never.
I know
don't wanna
you
go,
can handle
Mr.
it. It's
Stark.
all right, Mike. You know we're just messing around. I'm just messing with you.
Of course.
I don't know what that was, but I will listen later.
Did we
Probably about a
mention?
year,
Did
2
you
from now.
guys see? And it's okay, Mike. You can check out. I'll ask Artie as we wrap up. Did you see Pants in C2E2?
I saw him. Hey,
Good.
you guys.
I couldn't remember.
Yeah, I saw him
I saw him
briefly.
in the after hours time, at the Hyatt, and I'm really glad. Like I saw him like Friday night. He was there for the drink and draw that they were doing with on Friday night or Thursday night. I forget which night it was. There you go.
Thursday night.
There
Drink
you
and draw
go.
was
Yeah.
Thursday night.
Yeah. So because the Bensons are like, have you seen Pants? And I'm like, no. I'm like, I want to, and I'm sure we'll run into him. And we did. I am not on the Comic Geek Speak podcast anymore.
I am a Muppet.
Exactly. What are you talking about? He's our favorite Muppet.
Pants.
No, he was great. I was bummed. I'm like, Pants, you're one of the last reasons I would give a damn about listening to Comic Geek Speak. Yeah, that was enough. I am not there anymore. I'm like, all right.
He had his own Endgame. He goes,
That's
Yeah,
enough.
and
He went out
110
with a giant
110
battle.
old Pants on the bark bench.
I have a hammer.
I went back in time and I danced with Peggy to the Tommy Dorsey song, Kiss Me Once, Kiss Me Twice, Kiss Me Once Again, It's Been a Long Time. That's Tommy Dorsey on the trumpet. Angela.
The trumpet. Time for some Harold
I've
chicken.
heard good things about it, Artie. I'm not a foodie, but Pants. I should check his Facebook feed and see what he thought of Endgame. I'm sure he loved it. Have you seen anyone of like normal people, and I'm not counting the jerks that obviously are the haters, but like that didn't like Endgame? I mean, it's gotten like obviously like 95% on Rotten Tomatoes and all that, or 97%.
I have not heard one person who hated it.
I've heard people that have like nitpick kind of like a couple, more than one or two, not even problems, but like I like the movie a lot, but. And then, they'll do, like, how did Hawkeye's wife still have her cell phone after 5 years,
Yeah.
Clint?
Well, I still have people's numbers.
Well,
from
yeah,
5
we
years
have the
ago.
numbers in there, but it's like all of a sudden...
How does she still
her
have the
phone suddenly
service?
starts working. She comes through the portal.
But
Hey, I
did the
got
phone
reception.
go away?
Hey, I finally got enough bars.
Maybe he kept the phone.
That was the explanation. Yeah, man. No.
But he kept the service on for 5
I know,
years?
that's what the nitpicker's saying. It's like...
But I don't think he wasn't gonna go his main focus was not to keep the phone going. It probably just kept going, and while he went out being Ronin. So his Avengers.
Yeah, maybe
So it
something
just
like that. Exactly. Whatever.
Yeah, he
Auto
probably
pay
had
for 5
digital
years?
pay, probably
Yeah, he wasn't
PayPal
thinking
link.
about
Yeah.
it. Yeah, exactly. He was on a mission.
Mm-hmm. Made Avengers money, and now he's out killing
Absolutely.
mafia guys in Japan.
Tony was paying for everything. It's all right.
Yeah, I think he just didn't pay attention. Because if I lost my phone, I wouldn't know what to do. I'd just be like, forget about it. Someone will find it.
Here's some Endgame addendum. Do you think we would ever see Gwyneth Paltrow again in the armor as Rescue?
Oh, probably. Is that her name?
I doubt it.
And by the way,
That's what is in
another
the
Kelly
comics,
Sue
yeah.
DeConnick invention, Rescue, yes.
Where did we first see her in the movies in the armor? Was it this movie?
Well,
or did she
no.
have the armor in another movie?
She's protected. Is it in 3 where she's protected by the armor? Mike?
Yeah, it's one of those
That's right.
movies.
Yeah, that's right. She fought the fire guy,
and the missile,
right?
Yeah, the missile. Well, and also there wasn't like at one point there she's just got the power that whatever they have, the red, the power that makes them all crazy and stuff, the mutant power or whatever. But But the missile comes after at Tony's house, and I know that he throws the armor at her, and she's covered by the armor when the house collapses and everything.
Oh, that's right.
But I think that is the first time we've... I mean, he hints it at the beginning of the movie, obviously. It's a present for Mommy.
So she has worn
in the comics, she has, absolutely. Right? And
in the comics, she definitely has.
Yeah.
Rescue.
I liked it too. I thought that was a great... And I think, am I right? It was either Matt or it was Kelly Sue that came up with the armor.
I don't know.
Oh, I can't remember.
When she showed up in the movie, I didn't know who that was right away. I thought it was going to be... the first thought I had was Riri Williams.
Sure, the new one, Ironheart.
But I'm like, why would it be her? But then I get it. That's the one I didn't catch.
And you just made a good suggestion in terms of that might be what they do. Tony's dead. You have Gwyneth Paltrow as Pepper still running Stark Industries, and she meets Riri, and that's how we get Ironheart. I think you're 100% right about that, Artie. I think that could easily happen. Yes,
but man, I hope they use Rogue to fight Captain Marvel in her movie.
No problem with that.
Man, that would be.
It's gonna be very, and that's why.
Moment how to bring.
Well, I was gonna say that I don't know. Is that part of Phase 4, or is that now the new marching orders?
I'm gonna go with yes.
I mean, because they had Phase 4 in place before the Disney Fox deal. I thought was even in motion, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I'm not sure what the phases are. I know there are phases, but I'm not sure what movies belong to which phases.
The original pre-Avenger origin stories leading to the Avengers movie. And then you had Phase 2. And...
What, all the secondary guys?
Introducing all the Guardians, adding to beyond all the Avenger guys and them having their solo movies, but also the Guardians' first movie and Ant-Man's first movie. I don't know what else was technically. I'm sure it's online. I'm sure there's a list online. And Phase 3 ended with Endgame, obviously. I don't know if Black Panther's movie count or Civil War. I think Civil War is where Phase 3 begins.
Yeah, that's the part I don't understand. I get it, but I don't know what's part of Phase 1, part of Phase 2.
I bet there's a list online, but that's my supposition. Those are your milestones to distinguish. Like I said, Civil War, I would say, is the start of Phase 3 and ending with Endgame. There you go. Now, believe it or not, we continue to talk for about another hour and a half. And if you want to hear more of that conversation, I've broken it up into 2 podcasts on the podcast feed. We spoke for about 90 minutes before we got to Endgame while we were waiting for our Baltazar to join us. That was me, Mike, Scoot, and Franco. And then after we finished our Endgame conversation, Franco bailed. And Scoot bailed, so then it was just me, Mike, and Artie for a while. Then Mike bailed, and Artie and I closed out the show. So you can hear those 2 podcasts on the podcast feed. But I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Word Balloon. Every now and then I like to slide in when we all see a big movie and have an interesting talk about it. We've done it with the Star Wars movies. We've done it with a lot of the DC movies and several Marvel movies as well. So it was fun to get back and talk about Endgame, and let's all wonder what's going to happen in the future. It's going to be pretty interesting. Thanks for listening today to Word Balloon, brought to you by the League of Word Balloon listeners that sponsor this show via Patreon.com. If you go to Patreon.com/wordballoon, you will come to our Patreon page. And if you're interested in subscribing, that's how you do it. Thank you for your support, League of Word Balloon listeners. And this episode of Word Balloon brought to you by Aftershock Comics, the industry's fastest growing independent publishing company. They are publishing fantastic books. Marguerite Bennett's Animosity, Garth Ennis's A Walk Through Hell, things like Baby Teeth from Donny Cates and Dark Ark from Cullen Bunn. Also new books out there, things like Stronghold with Phil Hester and Ryan Kelly, Oberon from Ryan Parrott, Dark Red from Tim Seeley. Last week, the debut of Descendant by Stephanie Phillips, and coming out at the end of the month, May 29th, Killer Groove from Ollie Masters and Owen Marin. Now, don't forget, in the weeks ahead, we'll have more talks with Aftershock creators about their books. But don't wait. Go to their website. You'll find full story descriptions, preview pages, and the diamond codes on these books to order through your local shop at AftershockComics.com. Thanks for listening. Thank you very much for the support. And more great Word Balloon coming out today. We're talking to Isaac Goodhart, who was involved in Free Comic Book Day for DC, doing the Catwoman YA comic book, the graphic novel. They had a nice chunk of the book as a sample for Free Comic Book Day. I hope you picked it up. But it's a great chance to talk to Isaac. He made his bones at Top Cow on the series Postal, along with, of course, the Top Cow headmaster, Matt Hawkins, and a writer that we've come to know and really appreciate him coming on, Brian Edward Hill. So that's where I first learned about Isaac, and Isaac's been turning me on to really cool artists since. And also, I've just been enjoying his own work. And he's got a great personal story as well. So I hope you'll join me for this conversation with Isaac Goodhart on Word Balloon. Until next time, thank you. Word Balloon is a copyright feature of Chakey Productions, copyright 2019.